Why are Italians studying Cyprus? Why are Italians studying Cyprus? Why Cyprus? I will ask Luca Bombardieri. I will visit him in his huge archaeological playground in Erimi, and I will find out why. Caro Luca Bombardieri, we know each other since the Middle Ages. I have never asked you why an Italian archaeologist decide in a certain point of his life to study Cyprus. I mean, you have plenty of things to study in Italy. Why Cyprus?
IOSIF, we know each other since the prehistory, not since the Middle Age, really. And this is one of the most difficult questions. Let me answer. There are, I think, two different levels. The first one is the official one. Why Cyprus is so rich in antiquities and it's so interesting case in studying Mediterranean prehistory. And Erimi especially is something really precious in this kind of study. But there's another deeper level, which is the personal one. And that's why my late professor, Paolo Emilia Pecorella, was one of the first coming here in Cyprus to establish a research project in the 70s at Erimi, Morfu. And so he used to talk about Cyprus a lot since the beginning of our relationship when I was a student at the university. And since then I was like dreaming in coming here and I mean like going on this kind of research. We came here in 2007 for a survey project on the Couris Valley, and we had this kind of surface research in 2007 and 2008. And we were able to locate 13 sites of different periods, since the Bronze Age to the Cypro-geometric, Archaic and Hellenistic periods on both sides of the Couris River. And at the end of 2008, we came to a huge hill on the very top of the middle Couris Valley, near the modern Couris Dam, and we found a really interesting place to investigate, which is the site of Erimi Laonin Toporako, where we start with deeper investigation in 2009. And since 2009 till today, we are keeping on excavating this site, dated back to the Middle Bronze Age. Erimi is a key site in filling a gap in the prehistory of Cyprus because of the importance of Middle Bronze Age, which is not so well known. I mean, it's something like a terra incognita in the history of, in the prehistory of Cyprus. And we were so lucky to find a site where a Middle Bronze Age community settled, living and working. So we have a complete settlement with a workshop area, domestic area and a cemetery outside. So it's a unique case. When I first came to Cyprus, I felt like astonished in terms of relationship with the official authorities, especially the Department of Antiquities. Because in my experience, previous experience in Syria, having even a single meeting at the Mudiria in Damascus was something incredibly difficult. While here in Cyprus, it's so easy because people working in the Department of Antiquities are really good colleagues and very open-minded and really gentle and kind in having supporting us. So nothing to complain about this. Just complain about the weather, because coming in August is like, come on, Cyprus must be much better than this. I mean, it could be. But you know, we are facing a climate change globally, so maybe in the next seasons we will have some better weather, even here in Cyprus. But anyway, I don't complain for this as well.
I'm Maria Lucia Amadio and I'm a postdoc at the University of Pisa, and here in Erimi I'm the geoarchaeologist, because here in Erimi we apply high-resolution analysis to integrate stratigraphic analysis with microstratigraphic analysis and microarchaeology. It means all the high-resolution analysis we can apply to our depositional sequence in order to have a wider reconstruction of our context. Here, for example, we applied an analysis that is called micromorphology, and it consists in a block of intact sediment that will be analyzed at a polarized microscope in order to reconstruct the depositional sequence of our context and to reconstruct at larger scale the history of our archaeological site. Okay. Like here in this basin we left a piece of intact stratigraphy in order to take sample from this sequence here. I will just take a sample in this plastic bag and then we will analyze it in the lab with a different kind of technique and analysis.
Hello, I'm Andrea Villani. I'm a student PhD in Balearic Island University, and during the last excavation in 2019 we have identified a new part of the workshop area, and particularly in this room we have found inside a lot of objects, particularly a small anthropomorphic amphora. So this year we have decided to extend the area, and we have identified a new room and an open space that will be excavated this year.
I'm Martina FISSORE, I'm PhD at the University of Turin. I'm supervisor of T2, part of a residential area. We started to dig in 2016. We excavated 2 units in the lower terrace. This area is interesting because it's a cross area between the 2 terraces, the top of the hill and the lower terrace. I discovered Cyprus for the excavation in this site, so I love Cyprus because the beginning of my love is related to Leonino, to Poracco.
My name is EVIE THRASIVOULOU. I am a technician at this local archaeological museum of Kourion at the Episcopi village. With the Italian mission, we have an excellent collaboration since I was a technician at the Limassol Museum 2008. The collaboration continues till today. Every year we are looking forward to seeing the Italian mission.
But the real question is why they came here and in this specific space, And the reasons are 3 related reasons. WWW, the water, the wind and the wild plants. Because here it is the top of a hill, so the highest hill on the river, Kuris River Valley, where the wind is really strong, even today, because it's channeled by the valley itself and can even arrive here like strongly. And then the water, because they have the river valley itself, which is a major valley, and then another small valley, a minor valley over there, where a spring of water is still active. And so they have possible available water nearby, and the wind and the wild plants, which were really spread all over the hill, peculiar specific plants related to the activities they wanted to establish here. The plants are the family of Boraginaceae, and they're used for extract pigments, a particular violet red pigment. They extracted from these plants, and they need water and they need wind for what? For drying the fibers. This is a really interesting unit we excavated in 2018. Interesting because it's different compared to the other of the workshop complex. We found here nearby a huge monolith stone, a betylus, which is something like 2 meters height, and we found collapsed down on the floor. And when the Betylus collapsed, destroyed a red polish ceramic amphora just in front of a fireplace. Middle Bronze Age, especially the end of Middle Bronze Age, is a very interesting transitional, let's say, phase. I don't like so much the term transitional, but anyway, it's a phase just before the growing up of the urban phenomenon in Cyprus, the emergence of cities, of towns. And what we have in the Middle Bronze Age is a network of sites deeply related in terms of exchanges, of cultural and material exchanges. For example, Chissoner Gascalia, which is excavated by the Cari in the Paphos region, has a level of the same period coeval with Erimi, and of course Pyrgos in the nearby of Limassol, and so Alhambra, and in some way even Marchialonia, which has a earlier phase of occupation as well, are a sort of huge and increasing network of relations between communities in Bronze Age Cyprus. In Italy, there's a sort of small niche of Cypriot archaeology in the university. We are few university where the Cypriot archaeology is like a course for the students. And in Pisa, for example, where Giampaolo Graziodio has a long tradition of Cypriot studies, and in Venice, and in Torino, and now in Siena. And all the students involved, many of them were really wanted to come to have fieldwork in Cyprus, and the majority of them were really related to this kind of studies, and then keep on studying and went to the PhD and postdoc and so on. And this is a kind of new level of collaboration between Italy and Cypriot institutions. And for example, a good example is the summer school we organize in cooperation with the Fivos Stavridis Foundation in Larnaca, and which is established since 5 years. This summer school was the occasion for many students, not only archaeologists, even people interested in philology and ancient history, to have a preliminary look at the antiquity of Cyprus. And then some of them kept on studying and went to my courses, and then some of them come to fieldwork in Erimi. And so it's like a circle, which is something really interesting and useful. A second aspect which is really interesting is the opening to the wider public. And the best case to mention is the exhibition of Cyprus antiquities, and we organize both in Cyprus and in Italy. And this is a really nice example of cooperation between the two countries. And we organized some years ago an exhibition at Kition Archaeological Area in collaboration with the Fivos Stavridis Foundation and the Department of Antiquities of Cyprus, where some really interesting photographic plates by Luigi Palma di Cesnola were exhibited in the Kition Archaeological Area. And it was the first example. I think something like a starting point for a new project which involved us during the last 3 years and arrived to an opening just few weeks ago in 2021, after a long break for the pandemic global situation. And it is the exhibition dedicated to Cyprus at the Musei Reali in Torino, which is a very large exhibition, and again a great occasion of collaboration with the Department of Antiquities of Cyprus and other institutions and museums involved, like Loan partners, like the British Museum, like the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, Fitzwilliam Museum, and many others. And the result is a very interesting exhibition path which make a witness of from one side of the richness of the antiquity collection in Turin and in Italy, which are the result of pioneering exploration, like Cesnola, but also the new challenging archaeological research of the Italian missions in Cyprus. So the old trends and the new challenges.
I am Elena PERI, and I had just had my master's degree at the University of Pisa. I work here in Erimi excavation since 4 years now, and my job here is to basically stay at the Erimi school, elementary school, to work on pottery. So we are in the pottery laboratory where all the material from the excavation comes. So our job here is to collect material, to start to proceed after the washing. The most important, the most emotional part of my job is for me related to the human part of it, with ceramic, with pottery, because of course we have most of the time more distant vision of it. We study the shapes, we study the wear, we study the fabric, but we have also to deal with the fact that we are talking and dealing and touching things that people used in the past. So how those things were used, who used those things. Actually, it's like thinking that in 200 years from now, someone else will study the cup that I used this morning for my breakfast. So this is small amphora that we found in 2019 on the workshop, and it is a very interesting piece.
In this experience, we are restoring mostly pottery that comes from the archaeological site, but sometimes we also restore other materials. For example, we have a blade in bronze that we have to restore, and we are here for this purpose. It's my first time in Cyprus, and also in an archaeological site. So first time for everything.
Hi, I'm Giulia Gianmarinaro, and I'm a restorer here in the site of Cyprus. And I came from Venaria Reale, the University for Conservation and Restoration in Turin. And this is the first experience for me in an archaeological site, and I'm enjoying it a lot, and I'm learning a lot of things, and this work is very strong to do it.